Hey y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. I am Hans. We have another great show for you. It is Thursday. Well, if you're listening to this thing when it releases, it's Thursday. But if you're catching it over on YouTube, give us a subscribe. If you're listening on any of the audio-only versions, we appreciate you joining this week. We are your favorite night hunting addiction enablers and the co-hostess with the mostest, Mr. Jason Robertson, owner of Outdoor Legacy, and the guy that is the subject matter for most of these shows because he provides all the optics. So thank you very much. What's going on today?
Basically, I think what you're saying is I'm only here because I provide the optics. That's.
I mean, I'm not saying that specifically, but
it's kind of what it sounds like.
You're the reason for the show.
Yeah, yeah. There's two ways of saying that. You're the reason for the show, and you're the reason for the show. I got it. it. No.
Yeah.
All is good. Just battling through a little bit of sickness, so probably some hacking and sneezing and COVID 2.0. So that's all right. But no, we are glad to be here. Man, I am thinking I'm going to sneeze, but I'm going to try not to. We've got another great show. I want to just kind of bring up a little bit of this show, what we're talking about. It's going to be the N-Vision NOX35. Now, the reason I think this needs a disclaimer is because there's some guys that are like, wait a minute, that thing's been around for a while. Why are y'all just now reviewing it? And there's a couple reasons. One, it's been on the list for a long time. It has been something we knew we needed to get done. But two, one, we just didn't have time to get to it. Two, was really supply and demand. I mean, the market for the last couple years, y'all know. I'm gonna have to tell you about the supply chain issues and everything. So N-Vision has been really struggling to meet the demand for their optics. I mean, they have just been super popular and hard to get enough of. And the Nox was specifically one of those units. Every time we would get them, and we had already used it, we had tested it. And again, at the time, didn't have time to review it. And then next thing we knew, it's like every unit we get is sold. Somebody's waiting on it. We can't take those units. And Hans and I both go take and test these things and whatever. So it just got pushed off to the side. But now we are in the later part of the summer, August of 2022. And we have finally been able to get a little bit of inventory on N-Vision. Don't know how long that's going to last. I'm sure when fall hits, the stuff's going to fly off the shelves again. But we're really glad it gave us a chance to get this optic back out there in the field and do some testing for y'all.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard to do reviews on stuff that you never have any inventory of, and guys are sitting there waiting patiently. There was months long wait for some of the optics like the XRF and everything, but we are, like Jason said, we're reviewing the N-Vision NOX35. There is for such a small scope, there's a lot going on here. We're excited about reviewing it. I love this optic, and it's going to be hard to hold back my anticipation for talking about all the good things about this, but we're going to go through the specs. We're going to do a walk around, going to show you what's in the box. We're going to talk about the uniqueness of not just this optic, but some of the other optics and N-Vision as a company. We're also going to compare this to another optic that is similar to this one, made by another company. And then we're going to round it out, as always, with our pros and cons, who we think it's good for. And we're going to move right through this, starting off again with the specs. Jason's going to run through it. Now, normally you see video through the optic during this time. I'm going to ruin one of the specs for you. This does not record video, so you're going to have to look at Jason the whole time we do this. I'll hold up the optic a little bit, but it doesn't record video, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And
yep, there everything. We go. We'll talk about that in or kind of in our discussion about that. So, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe Hans will put up a picture of a puppy or an ocean or a sunset or something. You won't have to look at me, but otherwise, here we go. Again, this is the N-Vision NOX35. This unit comes in at $6,795. Yes, that is $6,795. and there is a lot of bang for that buck. So it is a 2.5 power base magnification. So 2.5 is where it starts. It does go up to, well, let's back up. It goes up with digital zoom. So I want to make sure you understand there's digital zoom in the unit. It is a focusable objective lens. Now, if you're new to N-Vision, you're going to say, well, isn't that a normal good thing? Normally it is. It's different, though, for N-Vision. All of their Halo line, those units all have a fixed focus. And just a quick disclaimer, in other brands, generally, if we say something has a fixed focus, that's a negative thing. You're not going to get the image quality that you would from a focusable objective. However, N-Vision is the exception to that rule. They have got the fixed focus mastered, and it's really, really phenomenal. This unit, however, is focusable, and there's a little bit of pros possibly to that, and we'll kind of talk about that again later in the review. It has a 64-foot field of view horizontally at 100 yards. It is a 640 by 480 12 micron 60 hertz BAE thermal sensor. Now, this thermal sensor is made in America. I mean, the BAE core and sensor are known to be top of the line for many years, and so this again is a BAE sensor. Comes with an American Defense Manufacturing quick detach mount. This is a return to zero mount. Very small, very lightweight, and if you have watched any of our shows, you know that the Late Night Vision show, Hans and I are huge fans of American Defense. They are a friend of the show, and we just love their mounts. They are American designed, American machined, lifetime guarantee on those mounts. If this is the real deal, and you don't have to look very far to see that all of the top manufacturers are using American Defense on their optics. They are putting these mounts on there, and it's a tiny amount of manufacturers that are not using American Defense, and so it just shows how good they are in this industry. Now, moving on, my favorite part, and probably my favorite part of the whole scope, it uses an 18650 rechargeable battery. There's a little battery extender you can put on there. Otherwise, it would just use a CR123A. You may not get much more than an hour out of that, so you're not going to want to do that. You're going to want to put on the included battery extender and slide in the removable rechargeable 18650 and get a realistic conservative battery life of 6 or 7 hours. Could be a little bit longer than that. Could be a little less in cooler weather or cold weather. But guys, we're going to come back to this. We'll harp on this, but I'm just going to make a big point. 18650. This is the best news of the day. It is very affordable, reliable, and long-lasting batteries that you can pop right out, pop right back in. So, again, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but man, we love that. It will allow you to use a USB external battery pack. So if for some reason you're out there and really, really, really long hours, maybe your 18650s run out, whatever it is, you can plug in a USB battery pack and run it off of that. Weighs about 21 ounces with the American Defense mount on the bottom of it. So that's very lightweight, a little over a pound. This unit is helmet mountable, rifle mountable, and it is, you could also use it as a handheld. We'll kind of, again, talk about that a little bit more, but it is a 3-in-1. And the two big things on this unit, this is what people talk about. Number one, it's got a 5-year warranty, and N-Vision has got amazing customer service. They are a fantastic company, but here's the really, really big one. Made in the USA. This unit is designed, engineered, assembled, shipped from, worked on, everything in the U.S. N-Vision is in Needham, Massachusetts, which is close to Boston. So, excuse me, they they're an American company. So we'll again, I keep saying we'll talk about it more later, but we will. If you're interested in Buy American, listen to this show. This show is for you, and we'll tell you why. Now, kind of to wrap this up, we'd like to talk about the realistic identification ranges. And to be clear, guys, if you're new to thermal, you have detection ranges and you have identification ranges. Identification means exactly what it sounds like, positively identifying and knowing what that object or animal is. Detection just means, hey, there's something out there. There's something hot. And I'll tell you what, these are our ranges that we think, and we're conservative. All right, we try to be realistic but conservative on that side. And I'm going to say 500 plus yards, being able to positively identify something like a coyote, a hog, a deer, that sort of an animal. Obviously, bigger animals are only easier, horses and cows and elk, that sort of thing. But I think 500 yards, again, this is assuming that it's, not terrible raining conditions. It's assuming you don't have 2 foot tall grass and, a coyote with his head sticking up above it. But a normal condition with an experienced hunter, I think 500 is easy. I mean, Hans, you disagree with that?
No, definitely easy. More plus 500 than minus 500. A very long ID range, especially for a 2.5 power optic. But I think you hit the nail on the head. It is that good, y'all. But we're gonna get to what is in the box right now, and I've got this box right here. Very nice hard shell. It's got the name Knox on it. N-Vision optics right here. The case alone is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Also, if you're a fan of stickers, they have hooked you up with stickers as well. That's all in the box. Now, I'm going to show this optic real quick. The 18650 adapter right here, this is what screws into this battery port or whatever you want to call it. But that's what gives you the ability, that 18650 battery extender basically gives you the ability to run 18650s on it. It does come with a battery, an 18650 battery. It comes with a CR123 battery. Also comes in the case with the charging base for your rechargeable batteries, the Allen wrenches to remove any of the mounts, but it also comes with a fancy N-Vision coin along there. Not a lot of stuff in the box, but really don't need a lot of stuff with it. You got your batteries, you got your charging base. That's about it. Now, doing a walk around of this scope, as you can see, this is very small, for a rifle scope. It's very small, about the length of my hand. You can remove the eye cup on it. Focusable eyepiece diopter right here. Again, your battery compartment, whether you're running a CR123 or an 18650, it would definitely suggest the 18650. You've got your focusable diopter ring here on the front. 35 millimeter objective lens with a very nice lens cover on there. You got your mount on top if you want to helmet mount it. You got your mount on the bottom if you want to weapons mount it. Again, one throw lever American Defense Manufacturing mount. Buttons are on the left side. There's, you got, I guess, total of, looks like 6 right there. You got your power button and you got your menu buttons and all that stuff there. Very easy design. Jason, this feels like, although this optic is very user-friendly, the menu is very easy, the setup is easy, it feels like you're holding a piece of equipment that's right off the battlefield. That's how good this thing feels. Yeah, definitely legit. So that's a walk around, and that is the what's in the box.
So I wanted to, you kept talking about how small it was there, and so while you were doing that, I was looking up the actual dimensions. That unit is 6.8 inches long. That's the length of a dollar bill. 6 inches. So 6.8 inches long, 2.9 by 2.4. That's with the mount on. Guys, I mean, you're seeing it there, but just in case somebody's listening on one of the audio only versions and not looking at it, we're talking about a little bitty unit. I mean, it's
exactly.
Yeah. So, I tell you what, this is a fantastic unit. I want to kind of, there's a few things I want to say. One, I think that this unit has gotten overlooked, I think unfairly. in the N-Vision lineup. And I think the reason is because there's been such a focus on the Halo X line. And that is their new flagship line that is, it's their full size units, and they've got the bells and the whistles. They got the video recording and the audio recording and the streaming for your, streaming video. So everybody loves that. But the big daddy, that's the XRF. That's their $9,500 scope, most expensive scope they've got. 3.5 power base mag, laser rangefinder integrated into it. And you're saying, well, why are you talking about that? This is the NOX review. I'm making the point that those units are really pop. That XRF, that's their best selling unit. Man, that thing sells like crazy. And so, N-Vision has got a name out there for this, high quality stuff, but people just keep hearing, oh, my buddy got this Halo, my buddy got this XRF. So that's kind of where the buzz has been. I feel like the guys that are buying this NOX, it's kind of the guys that are in the know. It's the guys who are in the industry. They know what the value for the dollar is here, and it suits their specific needs. And we'll get into that. We've got a section that we'll go over later is who is it good for. But I think the NOX, I don't want to call it the redheaded stepchild. I don't know that that's it. I don't know that it's that bad, but it is a popular unit. But I just feel like when people hear about N-Vision, they hear about the Halos, and they just don't know this exists. And the guys who are buying it, I kind of feel like are the insiders. They're the guys that know about the whole line and know what the options are. Now, I'm going to say this, and Hans teased this here in the beginning, and he said we're going to compare this to something. We very rarely in a review will compare an optic to a competing optic. There's a lot of reasons we don't do it, but we're going to do it this time. We're going to break our own rule. And I think the reason is because we feel like this optic that we're comparing it to is outdated and past its prime. And you're going to say, okay, then it doesn't matter anymore. Why are you even going to bring it up? Well, the reason is because we still get asked about this optic a lot, and that is the Trijicon Reap IR. Now, Trijicon, great company, another American-made company, nothing wrong with them, but Reap IR was super, super popular for a long time, but N-Vision has whipped them, and with this unit specifically, the NOX to the Reap, it's, in my opinion, Hans agrees with this, there's not any comparison. This is the unit. So I call this, I've said this to a lot of people in private customers, the NOX35 is the Reap IR killer. And the Reap was an old standby for a long time. But I just think now it's honestly antiquated at this point because of what N-Vision has done. Image quality beats it, smaller, lighter, better warranty. This is an amazing unit. And the reason I'm really bringing this up is because a lot of times the guys, when they do call, it's the logical question of, hey, my buddy's got a Reap. What do you think about that compared to this NOX? And I'm like, oh, this is going to be easy. I mean, this is going to be really, really easy. So a lot of people have that question. So I just want to go ahead and bring it up because I do think that it's crystal clear. I think the answer is the NOX.
And the people that call up and ask about the Reap IR, I feel like they not heard of N-Vision or heard of the NOX, but with all the features, and you said they've kind of been whipping that tail here the last couple of years. So
true.
Those conversations are good ones. Now, Trijicon, again, nothing against them.
Yeah, they're a good company.
But the innovation and development that the folks at N-Vision have been doing the last several years, they're constantly improving, and they do. I mean, back to the old N-Vision Halo LR, and think about how much progress has been made on their optics since then. Now you've got, rechargeable batteries recording on some of the units. I mean, they're listening to their customer base and they're making changes. And every time they talk to us, they say, what can we do? What do we need to do? What are we not doing?
Yeah.
And that's good to see.
I'm going to tell you something. Now we're going off a little bit here and probably not in our plan, but you made a good point. Every time that we get face to face with N-Vision, that, I mean, the formalities, the small talk, the what's going on, how's everybody been, how are the kids, you get past the small talk and you get to business, and it is phenomenal to me that they ask us questions, okay? Because a lot of times it's the other way around. They ask us questions, and it is 100% of the time, what are your customers saying? What do people say they want? How do they like this? What do they not like? I mean, they want that feedback, and I can tell you that's not always the norm. I'll leave it at that. So it's really impressive. And again, we're going to go back to how great we N-Vision is, how much we love the guys out there. But rolling on, I tell you what I want to do. There's no perfect units. No perfect scopes. Nothing's perfect unless God made it. So we're going to talk about a couple things that, would make this unit better, or maybe we'd like to change if we had the crystal ball. So Hans never likes to do the negative stuff. He always wants me to do it, and then he wants all the glory of the good stuff. So I'm just kidding. I'm joking. True. I'm joking, but it's true. So no, I'm gonna talk about a couple of the things we would change. Obviously, it doesn't have video recording. So that was mentioned. That's why we're not showing video. Now, before somebody's, screaming at their screen there, yes, you can use an external digital video recorder, a little DVR type system. Run a cable from the Knox to a little recorder to an SD card, all the stuff. All right, guys, listen, we've done it. The video output is bad. It is embarrassingly bad. It's not the Knox's fault. It's just it's antiquated way of getting video. I mean, you're sending this video out this cable and into this little record. It just doesn't work. It looks bad. I mean, it serves some purpose of, yes, there is the video proof, but it just is an injustice to the scope. I would liken it to going to something like, this beautiful work of art, like, I don't know, the Mona Lisa or something, and you go take your, kid's Polaroid camera that's made by Fisher Price and take a picture of it and then show it to somebody and go, isn't the Mona Lisa beautiful? And they go, oh man, I don't know. So that's why, again, we're not showing you that video because it's an insult to the scope. Now, if you get this and you say, yeah, I wouldn't mind, I don't care. All right, great. That's an option out there. You can do that. So now that's a negative to some people, but it's a pro to others. Hans, you know this. We talk to a lot of guys, and there is a large percentage of guys out there that say, listen, I'm not a YouTube star. I don't want to be a YouTube star. I'm not getting on social media to brag about what I kill. I'm out here either because I'm getting paid to do this, or I'm doing this because I'm getting furs and selling them, or because I'm trying to protect my land, or this is my hobby and I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is for me. They don't care about the video recording. And a lot of guys say, I don't even want it in there. I don't want anything to do with it. So I think for that guy, this is a pro. If you don't care anything about it, you're not paying for it. It's not there. And if you do want it, they've got other options. They've got the Halo X35, which is basically this same optic in the full size Halo for $7,500, $74.95. So you can spend a little more money and get the video recording and all that. But if you're looking for small, lightweight, I think this is the optic. The last two things. They're both minor. One, just real quick, the buttons are going to be over on the left-hand side because there's like a hot shoe mount on the top for guys that are going to helmet mount it. And so, again, buttons on the left are fine for right-handed people, but guys that shoot left-handed, it's just awkward. It puts it on the wrong side for them. So we've got some lefties in our audience that always say, hey, point out whether this thing is good for us or not. So I would say it's probably not ideal if you shoot left-handed. The Halo X line is on the top. That's ambidextrous, works for everybody. So I'd probably look at that if you're concerned about it. All right, last thing, again, It's minor because we've come to just understand this is the way that it is. With these optics, they have a manual calibration or a manual nuke, as we call it in the industry. And basically, the thermal sensor has to be recalibrated ever so often to keep the best image there for you. And what that means is you're going to have to close the lens cap and press a button. Takes 1 second, and you're going to do that ever so often. And you go, well, what is so often? Short answer is when you first turn the unit on, it's going to require it more, maybe every minute or two, just for a couple minutes. And then when it warms up and the unit is up and going good, you may not do it for a long time. It seems to me, and I'm not an engineer, and so some thermal engineer may listen to this and say I'm all wrong, but it seems like drier conditions, like cold, dry air, and maybe hot, dry air. I don't know. We don't have hot, dry. We have hot, humid. But drier air, it seems like, you might go for 15, 20, 30 minutes without having to nuke it or calibrate it. Again, worse conditions, you might do it a little more often, but you're not going to be doing this like every 30 seconds or anything like that. So kind of a non-issue, but if you're coming from another brand that has an auto nuke or a semi-auto, you just press a button, don't have to close the lens cap. You maybe go, what is this? It's something new, but it's not a reason to not buy the scope.
No, not at all. It's not that big of a deal. Like I said, when you first turn it on, you might have to do it a couple times in the couple minutes, but the longer that it's on, the less that you're going to have to recalibrate it. Not a big deal. So pros, you mean to run through the pros? You want to do?
No, I want you to have all the glory of the pros.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Good. That's the executive producer should get all the glory. So, the first thing, I'm going to say is the picture image on it is unbelievable. It is very, very good. When people call up and they say, I want the best optic, I want the best picture I can get, the conversation always quickly turns to N-Vision products when they talk about wanting the best image on the market. So picture image is always going to be the most important for me. That's always the where it's all about. So that's the biggest I would say pro. Secondly, the price. This is a $7,000 unit. $7,000. It's right at a little under $6,800. It's a lot of money, but again, for what you're getting, you're getting a lot there. You're getting a American-made BAE system, the best image on the market, something that you could use as a helmet setup, as a monocular, as a rifle scope. So that's a big advantage as well. Even though that's a big price tag, it is a good value for the money compared to a lot of other stuff on the market. The 18650, the fact that you can run this off of a rechargeable 18650, a battery that can be found almost at any gas station. No, I'm just joking. You can't probably find it at a gas station, but you can find it at Walmart or Target. Yeah. That's how easy these things are to find. Brand new, they're about $10 to $15 a piece.
If you get a good one, 10 to 15. Yeah. And again, this is rechargeable. We just want to be clear. This is not a throwaway battery. It's a rechargeable. You're going to keep this thing for years.
You could have, a couple in your pocket, and it'll last you a long time.
6 to 7 hours. So you just think about it.
Longer
even if you're in 0 degrees, good gracious, you got. 3 or 4 of these. You're 24 hours. So yeah.
Oh, a lot longer than any of us want to hunt. I can promise you that.
Yep.
Especially in the wintertime. So 18650, big pro. Size and weight. We did the dimensions, told you the weight. This thing is super small. If you want a lightweight setup for your rifle, this is going to be perfect for that. Even as a handheld, it fits in your hand well. It's not heavy, works perfect in that regard. A lot of power and a lot of great picture image in such a small package. Another thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, well, I'm just going to say, I want to bring up something that we forgot to mention here. I forgot to mention, I should say. I'll take the blame. It's a pro, and it should have been under the specs, and that's the recoil rating. So, guys, you want to know what size rifle you can put this on? That's a question we get a lot. And the guy says, hey, man, I'm shooting something pretty big, and most manufacturers are that 308, somewhere around there. And so guys will call and say, hey, here's the deal. I've got this 450, or whatever,
Yeah.
Guys, we've had N-Vision say this on the show, okay? So this is not us making this up. There's no recoil rating on this unit. No recoil rating. Tim, our buddy over at N-Vision, literally said, put it on a 50 BMG. Let us know what happens. I mean, it is no recoil rating. So if you're wanting to put this thing on an elephant gun, go for it. I mean, the scope is capable, according to, that's under warranty. They're covering it. So I just wanted to throw that out.
That's good. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm waiting for the first person to post a picture on Instagram with a tank with a Picatinny rail mounted on it and an N-Vision optic on a tank.
You joke.
Yeah, it'll happen. A couple more things as far as pros made in the United States. It's a big deal, y'all. It's important to all of us. There's not anyone in this industry that wishes that more optics could be made in the United States, and it's important for a lot. You probably are not surprised, but there's a lot of people that call and say, I want something American made. I want to put my money towards that, towards American research and development. So that's a big deal. All of this stuff, being manufactured and produced right here in the good United States, for Americans, by Americans, and it's, you can tell in the quality of the optic. The last thing, it comes with a 5-year warranty and amazing customer service. The people over there, they go above and beyond, many times more than they should, in making sure that customers are taken care of. We know certain situations where they did a lot more than they probably had to, but they did so to make the customer happy, because at the end of the day, they realize that, hey, these are high quality products. They don't come with a small price tag, but there's a lot of expectation there. When you buy a Rolls Royce, you expect to get treated like a Rolls Royce customer. And so, they do a good job. They are very responsive on the phone. Now, if you have a problem with an optic, and this goes with any optic really, but your first call should be to your dealer. If you are buying from a dealer that doesn't have a phone number, that's a problem. If you can't reach your dealer, if you have a problem, because no matter who you buy it from, we hope you buy it from Outdoor Legacy, but you should feel comfortable enough that if you have a problem with an optic, that should be your first call.
Right.
So you call us, and then we help you with the return process back to the manufacturer.
And the first thing is we may be able to go, hey, wait a minute, push this button, press that.
Yeah.
Or wait a minute, hang on, I've heard of this before. Let me think back, there may be a quick fix. And if there's
absolutely,
and if there's not, no big deal. At least now we know about it. Now we can be, and so I tell guys this all the time. Even if I can't fix your optic, even if this thing, the front lens fell out of your scope or whatever, something stupid, crazy, I still want to know, because that is good for me to know when I hear of it again or I don't. And we can see patterns. We can talk to the manufacturer about it. So we want to know. And like Han said, if we can't fix it, we can say, okay, listen, here's who you need to call. Here's their phone number. This is the hours that they're open. Call them, talk to them. You got any problems, let us know. You need a copy of your receipt, let us know. We're here to help. Now, you'll be dealing with N-Vision, for the warranty work or whatever. But like Han said, you're going to call. You're going to get somebody who's nice, somebody who cares, somebody who wants to help.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You call. That's why your first call should be to your dealer. And the first thing we're going to ask is, like any good computer repairman, did you turn it off and turn it back on? No. No.
Yeah. Is your printer cable plugged in?
Yeah. So no, that's the customer service is top notch. I mean, it doesn't get any better. There's a lot of good companies out there. N-Vision is really at the top of the heap when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, did I miss any pros?
I don't think you missed anything.
Before?
I tell you what I think.
Right.
I think we're going along. We need to talk about something really important. This is what guys watch the review. They're like, okay, looks cool. It's a lot of money, but it's made in America. I'm supporting Americans. I want to buy American. Here we go. You got me. I'm almost there. Is it going to work for me? And I think that's the big question, and that's maybe why you're here. And so Hans and I'll try to answer that. My opinion is this, and I want, I'll give my spiel there, and then Hans can jump in. But it's a 2.5 power unit. We generally say on the N-Vision optics, we feel like their magnifications listed are a little higher than what you're probably going to see compared to a competing optic. Meaning, if you got another manufacturer's 2-power scope, I think that this 2.5 power Nox probably be a little closer to the 2.5 power. I'm sorry, to the 2 power than 2.5. So I mean, it may be somewhere in between. Just we're splitting hairs here, but it's worth mentioning. So with it being a 2.5-ish magnification, I think it's got this really long identification range. So if you're comfortable and capable of knowing the distance and the yardage, I think you can shoot a very long ways with the optic. Okay, I'm not going to tell you how far you can shoot with it because it's way further than I would think is safe or reasonable to do. I mean, the scope is capable if the shooter is capable. But I do think that with the lower magnification, I think it's going to be better suited for guys that are doing most of their shooting under 100, 125, 150. That does not mean you can't shoot 250, 300, or again, maybe further. We're not necessarily recommending. We know there's situations where that, the proper shooter can take those kind of shots and judges distance and all that. The scope is capable. But I think if you're always, let's say you're hunting coyotes and you're in the Dakotas and you're, trying to call them in, you can't get them in under 250, 300 yards. This is not the scope. I mean, you need to go to one of the Halo X models, the X50 or the XRF that's got that 3.5 power. That's what that's designed for.
And I want to say, and it's not because you can't see them. It's because the goal of buying an optic is to buy an optic that you rarely ever have to increase the magnification to take a shot.
Bingo.
And the reason being is because every time you double your magnification, you cut your resolution in half. So why buy a 2 or 2.5 power optic when you always have to bump it up to the next level? Because then you're basically, then you're spending money for resolution you don't have the benefit of using. So this scope can definitely see it out there, but it's not that. It's being able to take a very comfortable and confident shot at those longer ranges.
Without having to zoom way up. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And there are other optics in the N-Vision line that are better suited for that. But I would say that, if you're going to helmet mount this, you're going to need to be in areas that are very, very wide open. This is a 2.5 power for a helmet mount. That's how on the very high end. Most of them are like 1 power, like the Nox 18 is a 1 to 4 power. So helmet mount, you're going to want to be in wide open places. But as a monocular, it's a great base magnification at 2.5 power, 64 feet at 100 yards, very wide field of view for scanning. That way you can see those coyotes or hogs on the side of you running in, or you're not going to miss as much because of that wide field of view. And as a rifle scope, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as the yardages.
Yeah, so I think that, let's just say, if we're going to stick into big broad categories, average hog hunter, perfect. Some coyote and predator hunters that are, again, mostly shooting in that under 200, under 250, mostly. Not that they don't have to take a shot out there sometimes. And again, keeping a lot of those shots under 100 or 125. I think that's where you're going to want to be. Excuse me. Hans is made a good point here about the monocular. I know we really didn't get into that because we've just kind of run out of time, but I know there's guys going, why would I buy a $6,800 monocular? Well, number one, you might just want to. Number two, you might want it for multiple things. Okay, maybe it is a scope, but hey, you know what? Sometimes I'm going to take it off and I'm going to go right around. Maybe I'm going to go, whatever, just looking, just hunting. Maybe that's where this unit, the multifunction, comes in. It is small as any normal monocular on the market. Any normal size monocular for sure fits right in there. You take the mount off if you wanted to. You're going to drop a couple ounces. You're going to make it even smaller, which, to be honest, the mount doesn't take up much room. But if you wanted to do that, you could. You can slide this thing in a pocket. You could wear it on a lanyard. You can do a lot of things. So I think now I want to say one thing. There's some optics that I'll tell people they're multifunction. They do a lot of things. And I'll say, you need to want to use a couple of these options, of these functions, to make it really worth it. I disagree with this. This is different. If you say, I just want a scope, the NOX35 will function as a fantastic scope and hold its own against anything else. So don't feel like, well, I'm not going to helmet mount, I'm not going to handhold it, so maybe this isn't. No. This thing holds its own as a dedicated rifle scope. So again, if you're still not sure and you're like, I don't know, maybe it's for me, maybe it's not, I'd say give us a call. I mean, we'll be glad to talk to you about your situation and figure out if this is what you need, or figure out, maybe one of the halos is a better option for you, but we could be glad to walk you through that. So that's my 2 cents on that.
All right. So if you're interested in purchasing this NOX35 by N-Vision or any other N-Vision product, please give us a call, 877-350-1818. You can find all of our optics on the website, outdoorlegacygear.com, outdoorlegacygear.com. Jason, I was thinking about this today. I don't really know of another dealer, and there probably are some out there, but I don't hear them say this. We're the only ones that I know of that actively say, call us. It seems like a lot of the other ones out there are just like DM us or email us or whatever, but we say call us. Yeah. Give us a call. We want to talk to you. You can definitely talk to me or Jason if you have any questions at all, 877-350-1818. Thank you for watching on YouTube if you're watching there, or on Facebook, or on Spotify if you're listening on iTunes. Or anywhere else, please give us a follow, thumbs up. We really appreciate it. You can find all of our past episodes over on the website, thelatenightVisionShow.com. And if you're looking for Jason, you probably find him on a forum answering somebody's question on what's the best scope they can get, or some other random questions. But you can also find him on YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram at Outdoor Legacy Gear. You can find me over on YouTube doing reviews and doing some hunts. That's on YouTube. It's Hans ETX, Hans ETX. And on Instagram, the same thing, Hans ETX.
All right, guys. Listen, we hope you enjoyed this review. Again, you got questions, you know where to find us. Like Hans said, give us a call. We're glad to help you. We would love to have your business. And if you're looking for a high-end American-made optic, N-Vision Optics, look no further. That is your company for that, and we would love to help you get into one of those. Guys, we hope to see you again here next week. If you're new to the show, every Thursday we put out a review or some sort of discussion on a topic that involves night hunting or guns or shooting or something related to this topic. And so we hope to see you back here then. But between now and then, y'all stay safe in the fields and keep making those bacon pancakes.